Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week is our resident gaming journalist Eli.
How's it going?
And our retro aficionado Unoclay.
I just want to point out. I just want to point out that I believe you said podcast to start the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, baby. The podcast back.
Oh my gosh, even Uno's getting in on the Sans memes. Oh gosh.
Wait, what is that a meme?
I mean, it's from a game, but it's pretty much kind of a meme.
Oh,
where people will show they'll have some sort of scenario, and then something will happen, and they'll have the one character's eye turn blue, and that's a reference to Sans, which is the a character that music's from Undertale.
Yeah. I just started playing Undertale for the first time. I didn't know it as a meme or anything like that. So I was referencing the game I'm playing this week more than anything else. Awesome, yeah, because it's super funny, and I can imagine why people would meme it. That's great. Cool.
All right, so we'll start off with our Game of All Time tournament.
By now you know the drill, but if you're some newbie just joining the show, at the start of the year, the four hosts of Just Another Castle each named our 8 favorite games of all time. Then, every week, 2 games go head-to-head, and the winner advances to the next round. In the end, 31 games will fall, and 1 game will rise above the rest to become Just Another Castle's official favorite game of all time. If you want to see the current brackets, head over to www.challenge.com/justanothercastle. That's challenge with an O. Also, sometimes our votes result in a tie, and you listeners can help settle the match. If you want to be part of the fun, follow Just Another Castle or the Mango Viking on Twitter, and you might get tagged to throw a tie-breaking vote. Leave luck to the heavens, and leave the pasta casserole to Matt's sister.
Oh, it's really cool. It's really cool.
This last week was Wind Waker versus The Last of Us, or the last episode, and Wind Waker beat out The Last of Us 3-1, as it should. And this week is Super Mario Galaxy 2, the dreaded Super Mario Galaxy 2 versus Pokemon FireRed.
Only dreaded to some who will remain nameless and possibly miss their chance to vote if they don't get here soon. Come on. Well, that's a great pairing. Who's do we know who submitted these games?
I think Eli did Galaxy 2 based off of another hierarchy of Nintendo games that happened recently. And actually, I think both of them were from Eli.
Of course they were.
Hello.
Oh, he's here.
Coming in to save
the
the
man
day.
himself.
Don't worry, boys. I changed my password 3 times.
That's pretty tough, but welcome aboard. We are live. We're live on the air, boy.
Nice. All right, let's get it. Let's get her done.
Oh God. Yikes.
That's it. I'm Larry the Cable Guy. I'm the guy. That's the guy I was trying to think of. He existed.
He did exist. Undeniably.
Indeed. Is anyone interested in going first?
For what? For the voting or for every game I've beaten on the planet?
No, for voting.
What's the game?
It's Galaxy 2 versus Pokemon FireRed.
I'll tell you what I'm not voting for.
Oh, please do elaborate.
All right, I'll vote first. Someone's got to step it up. Don't even give me a minute. All right, as it may come as a surprise to anybody, I'm not voting Galaxy 2. That game's actual dog shit. All right, I was in the bathroom, and that toilet paper that doesn't make it to the in the toilet. All right, and you're like, oh, that's nasty because it's like a little shred. That's what Galaxy 2 is. All right, it's trash, and that's where it belongs. Pokemon FireRed win.
All right then. You have some weird analogies that'll go on there somewhere.
Oh, good stuff. Well, I mean, he was quick and short. I mean, the users.
California water and then drank it and then almost died because it's terrible. That's exactly how I felt when I played Mario Galaxy.
Galaxy
Oh my
2 is
God.
California water. There you go.
No, I think there's something wrong because the California water is like not distilled for like 5 hours because it comes from like NorCal. It doesn't matter. It's terrible. Just like Galaxy 2.
All right, then.
Well then if someone's brand new to our podcast, we should say that Mike is not kidding. Mike has a well-documented history of disliking the game he's speaking of, and I don't know. He's not trolling. I'll just say that. Like, someone who tunes in is like,
I
what are
get
they?
that a lot. People think I'm trolling. I'm like, nah, dude. Thank you, Clay.
Yeah. Like, what are they? What is this, like a joke podcast with like some kind of weird like troll like joke on it or something? Like, no, that's Mike
when
is
Flea
voting.
was on.
Mike is voting how he votes here. Like, this is welcome to the podcast, everybody.
This is a serious competition. All right. Got a lot at stake here.
Oh, brother. Matt, pick a person to go next.
All right. Unoclay, why don't you go?
All right. I do like the music in Pokemon, especially the early versions, and since it's a Mario Galaxy 2 versus Pokemon FireRed, I'm positive I've listened to the music before because I've listened to all the early soundtracks for Pokemon and liked them all with a deep affection. That said, since I'm going to vote for Mario Galaxy 2, I'll spend the rest of the time just reading from the Destructoid review of Mario Galaxy 2. The focus on new power-ups, level design, and imaginative control, combined with some fun throwbacks for the Mario series fans, makes for one hell of a ride and even better game than Super Mario Galaxy. For me, I think it's even better game than the game in the previous series favorite, Super Mario World. In short, the best Mario game ever.
Who wrote this?
That's how he starts the review.
Who wrote this?
Mr. Dale North, I'll have you know.
Dale North. I'm boys with Dale North, and he doesn't even work at D2 anymore because he wrote this trash. Okay. Like
Pro
no
Gamer
more.
Mike. Pro Gamer Mike knows the guy, but he disagrees with the guy. Thank you.
Okay. I know the guy. All right. Hey, first off, Matt, deduct points or something. This is stolen work he's repeating. All right. It's not even original. I had to force the source out.
Hey, I gave half original content and half recycled content. It's just like every other website on the planet.
It's
Come
just
on,
like
man.
Galaxy 2.
Burn! Nice one, man. Burn.
Yo, Matt, that was a top tier burn, dude. I didn't get smiling while driving.
All right, I'm shutting up. It's someone else's turn to like ruin this podcast. All right.
All right. I'll go next because I think it'll be interesting for Eli to go last since he voted for both. And I think people know where I stand anyway. So it's hard to judge them both because they're both two different genres. So I guess one way to judge them is how well do they play on their own, like as far as their genre or series is concerned. And I think Pokemon FireRed, like even though some of the HMs are kind of stupid, I still think it's a great game overall. And what it does well, it does right, which is why the series has largely followed that path for so long and hasn't done much differently because the core is really well done. And it was also remade, so I mean it has to be good enough that people bought it a second time 10 years later or whatever. And Galaxy 2 I think is just like okay, but it's too linear, and even though the original Galaxy isn't like open as much as 64, it at least gives you some illusion that it is more open and is to a more certain extent. And I just don't think the linearity of Galaxy 2 does it better. I think 3D World is probably a better 3D/2D Mario game than Galaxy 2 is.
Here. All right. Well said, brother.
All right. Well,
So wait, I'm not clear. Which one are you voting for?
Oh, sorry,
Pokemon.
Pokemon FireRed.
Oh, damn! All right. Yeah. Well, we all know there's a bunch of Poke lovers up in here. No surprises.
Yeah, we poke all night, man. Come on.
No, I know you guys poke all night. It's beautiful to watch.
All right. Let Eli have the floor.
Up next for poking.
yeah, this is hard because I love both of these games, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Pokemon FireRed,
Damn.
And the reason is because it's just, for me, it was one of my first video games I played. It had deep emotional ties to it. Galaxy is an incredible platformer. I do think it's one of Nintendo's best games, so I put it on this list. But there's just the world of exploring Kanto, as the others pointed out, really cool. When I played that first time and I hadn't encountered any Pokemon, every time I encountered one, it was just like such a special experience. I'm like, ooh, another monster. It was yeah.
Do that voice again.
Ooh, another monster.
2-2. Yo, I'm pretty
Thank you
sure,
so much.
You know what? Yo, you guys should message maybe the Gaming Night Live. I totally don't have access to that Twitter, so if you randomly happen to get it, just ask them to vote. All right?
This feels really, really biased because I don't know if Eli should be allowed to vote. First of all, he dressed as a Pokemon for Halloween super recently. Kind of biased. His girlfriend was a Pokemon for Halloween. Kind of biased here.
All right. Well, hey,
We know Mike's biased.
It's not biased at all. You're like just using his Michigan State brain. And he's like, I've elevated my IQ and I can see past.
I don't know. This is like when the Supreme Court.
Requirement to see past Galaxy is 2 IQ. Okay.
This is like when a justice in the Supreme Court has to recuse himself because he's a little too close to the flame. I don't know about all this. I'll live with it. But I want to say I just wanted to see Galaxy 2 go all the way just so Mike would have to I don't know, just the rage quit on this podcast would be just epic fail of all time if we got that one into the finals. But I'll live with the voters' decision, I suppose.
I half wanted Galaxy 2 to go in just like to hear Mike go crazy because I don't think it's going to beat out Wind Waker anyway, so I don't think it would actually get to the finals. It would be semifinals technically, but and also Eli can't be biased for both games he put in, so he's equally biased. His girlfriend dressed
as a Pokemon for Halloween.
I mean, she doesn't care about Pokemon, so.
I'm just saying. Well, I'll live with it, but I'm not pleased.
All right, so that ends our Game of All Time tournament for this week, and yeah, we'll get on to what.
Honestly, I feel like the real winner of this tournament is me because all my games have been
really. That's
it's because you paid for these garbage brackets, okay? Every time we got working, I'm like, yo, I got a team kill every time, all right? He's like, yo, go on, coughing up blood. All right? I was like,
no idea what he's talking about.
Clay will put games like Sonic 3 and Mario 64 against each other, and then I look at the other side of the bracket, and it's like Jimmy's Secret NES Adventure versus Eli's game. I'm like, yo, what kind of horseshit is this?
Like, hey, in fairness, Jimmy's Secret Adventure is a very valuable and somewhat entertaining game, man. Come on.
Okay, freaking Jimmy out here throwing my games with Clay. All right, freaking Black Sox out here. Oh, all right, it's all right. I'm not even mad. I just already know it's a sham.
All right, I have no good segue, so we'll go into what we've been playing. So Eli and I recently went to EGLX to play a bunch of games actually from various different devs, either within the Toronto area or outside. Some of them were from the States. And I guess we could both go back and forth or whatever about this, but I don't know, I guess I'll just start with one. King of the Hat we played. I keep saying last year, but Eli keeps reminding me that the last EGLX was in March, which seems weird that it's like only 6 months apart. But that's still a really fun game. They got like a dozen levels and characters and whatnot. All the characters have like unique abilities. So what you try to do is knock the other person's hat off, either by throwing a hat and knocking their head off and jumping on their hat and killing them, or hitting them with your hat and they go flying and you can kill their hat that way. And
this game is
it's just really fun.
Good.
Yeah, we went back a couple of times.
I played it for so long.
What's the name of the game? Hat in Time 2?
If only. No, King of the Hat.
King of the Hat. I think I heard of that.
Yeah.
It's
on Discord, which is really weird because I didn't realize Discord sold games.
Really?
But apparently they do now. They were like one of the first
For a
5
long
people.
freedom. You know what? It might have been that last EGLX, which apparently is not a year ago. I'm just like, why is this so recent, this game? Wow. All right. Definitely want to check that out. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, it's King of the Hat is like, its zaniness and like its fast nature. I like because a lot of fighting game, even like Smash rip-offs are still like more deliberate experiences. And even Smash, which a lot of people think is quick, is like is pretty deliberate. King of the Hat's like just such a fast-paced game. Really liked it.
Yeah, it was
And,
actually,
and this
it was,
this game is out now, or is this a demo you played? I missed that.
No, most of these aren't out. This one is not out. It comes out early 2019. It's on Discord now if you want to buy it that way, but I just say wait for a console version on it, honestly. It's coming to Switch.
Cool.
To be specific.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
it looks
a
like
fun multiplayer game.
4-player game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're
Cool.
planning on adding some more stuff.
Nice.
We're using
cool.
GameCube controllers, which is rad.
Yeah, that was cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Nice.
all the not booths, but they had like 16 TVs or whatever set up, and once Saturday came and Sunday, like they were all full like all day. So good for them.
Yeah.
But
It's cool. Give us some background on this festival in general before you keep going with the games. Just like, I mean, is it really? You talked about it last year, but for the new listeners and for myself, like, you know, you guys, what's the size of this thing? Couple buildings, one building, one show floor. You know, give us a picture.
So it was like one large show floor. I think that for this one there were 30,000 attendees over 3 days.
Jeez,
It's pretty good.
wow, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's huge.
I
Definitely.
really liked it. And then on the last day they have a pretty big game swap. And what?
sorry,
No, don't worry.
I forgot
Go.
to throw the phone out.
Oh, and then it was interesting because before we went to the game swap, Mesa, my girlfriend, was there with us, and she's like, "So what's this game swap thing?" And I'm like, "Just imagine a bunch of dads bringing in their basement game collections to sell," and that was a pretty apt description. She was like, "Wow, you pretty much described it exactly." But we're walking around, and one of the interesting things, because I was there with another writer from the site that's my age, a year younger, Andrew, and we talked to someone, and I'm like, man, like once I actually have money, I'll be able to start collecting games, and that'll be cool. And the guy was like, so what system are you gonna start collecting on? You know, NES people usually like think that's the place to start, but really I recommend the SNES. And then we both are like, I don't know, maybe GameCube, because I don't know, we kind of grew up playing that system really heavily, and there are just so many great GameCube games. And so that was like the moment when I realized that, well, I think that was the moment when he realized how old he was. And then also the moment when we realized that, you know, it's okay to like newer games. And, you know, you're still cultured, even if you like the GameCube as your first system. So.
Well, you brought
Let me
up a
ask you
good
about
point
that.
that GameCube games are cheaper. Like NES games, they can go for like $30 plus, whereas GameCube, it's like, yeah, you can get them for like 10.
Well, it
Yeah,
depends,
because-
right? Because the if you want to get some of the more expensive or good GameCube games, like even Wind Waker, which is there's a lot of copies is going for more now. But if you're looking at a game like Fire Emblem, like
Oh man, yeah, they're like 100 plus.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say that, or you get like those special edition games, like what is the Mario Dance Dance Revolution one? That's like
Yeah, because that went out
Yeah.
of print.
yeah.
so that was fun. And then I ended up spending $100 on Amiibo. So
Classic.
Yeah,
This guy.
I like messaging Eli. I'm like, do you have this amiibo? Do you have this amiibo? There's some over here, some over here.
yeah, there were
Awesome.
so I only have like 15 left to get, if that, or even more. And I saw 4 of them, and I'm like, okay, 4 for $100, I'll take it. So ended up driving
What's your biggest get yet? What's the one you're hunting? What would be your number one snipe that you got to get right now? Like out of the remaining amiibo?
Which one do I still need to get? So
Like,
Callie
yeah.
and Mari, Callie and
Marie.
I don't even know how her second name is pronounced. Mari. From
Yeah.
Splatoon are the ones that I'm missing, and they're really expensive. They're like $100
Are they?
for Amiibo.
Are they really? No shit.
Are they in a
way.
package together?
Yeah, they are.
That
Other than that, I mean, I don't have the alternate colors for Splatoon, and honestly, I don't know if I'll get them because they're literally the exact same design. They're just a different color, and I think I can go without them. Other than that, I think I've got some of the links. I'm missing some of the limited edition links. So like, there's a Majora's Mask limited edition and Ocarina of Time limited edition. I'm missing those. But the day I took my LSAT, my girlfriend got me the Wind Waker ones. So that was probably the most exciting one because I really, really wanted those amiibo, and yeah.
See,
Nice.
Eli, if you're or Unoclay, if you're gonna worry about bias with his girlfriend, there's one right there.
Yeah.
She got him a Wind Waker thing.
Yeah. But that bias is legitimate. I just don't choose to recognize the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, stick with us here. Yeah, that's really amazing. That's cool. I've broken my addiction to the point that there are ones I want, but I haven't seriously looked into them. So when you say, "Oh, Kala and Mari or whatever the names are expensive," that's like both surprising and a bummer to me because like they're the kind of ones I might get because they're funny and unique enough that I'd be like, oh, like. I love Splatoon. I'd totally get those, even though I've never really connected with those characters that much. They're kind of funny to me, but since they're not playable, I kind of don't have the connection to them or anything. And it's like, but that's awesome. I didn't know they were that pricey or whatever. I didn't know they're the upper echelon amiibos these days or whatever. Cool, dude. I was just curious since you're like if listeners are new to this, during the amiibo craze, Eli was like getting doubles of everything practically. And, at this point, as you can tell, he's near complete. He's verging on a Per Schneider here, like in terms of like complete amiibo collection or whatever. So that's cool, dude.
Yeah. Well, and the reason was because I like stopped for a while, right? And then like I started again, and that was the problem is I needed to catch up. And I've been going all along. I'd be in good shape, but dumb Eli was like, "Oh, I'm quitting my addiction," and really came to bite me in the ass when I got addicted again. But I think they're a worthwhile investment because like I'm looking at these prices and I'm like, you know what? They're only going to get better value from here on out. And and some of these are such limited edition that like I got the whatchamacallit, the Dark Souls amiibo.
Yeah. And
because I pre-ordered that right when it was made available. And I think it's already worth like, I don't know, like $35, and I got it for 15. So
sure,
and that's just literally right after launch. So I think these are generally good investments.
Nice. Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you read that article, but there was a one on how Legos were one of the best investments of the last 30 years and how they were appreciating it like 3 times the value of the actual stock market. So like,
amazing.
Those sets, it was like the best investment.
That's hilarious. Hey, I don't disagree that it's possible. I completely do. You know me. I'm collecting old games here. I got a room full of them here. Some valuable, some medium. I'm looking at a copy of Contra Force right here, which is a fairly expensive NES game. But I also have this like worry for me. First of all, the stuff I'm collecting is like 30 years older than the amiibos, but that the market's going to peak and then tank in my lifetime because people are going to start to dump their collections as they get old and don't want them anymore. And amiibos, you got a longer life shelf like span on them if they do retain value. So you got longer to worry about it, But for me, I'm like, shit, I quit because I think I stand on the other side of it. I think they're probably gonna be only worth, well, some of them are gonna be worth a lot of money, but like now the fact that I still haven't bought the Zelda Guardian one that I really want tells me I'm out of the game right now. I'm like, I really want the Metroid breaking out of the case and I really want that Guardian one, but I still haven't got either of them. So I'm like, I think right now I'm sort of done, but that's I'm jealous. I'm also jealous of your habit.
I actually ended up picking up an amiibo there too. I picked up the Shovel Knight one because I saw there was one there, and I'm like, I kind of wanted it before, and then I didn't pick it up, and then like they weren't really. I didn't really see them around anywhere online, and then I saw it there. I'm like, how much is that? They're like $28, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's more expensive online. Let me check. It's like 45. I'm like, sure, I'll take it.
Wow, good score, man.
I think it's because it's a Japanese one.
Mhm.
Like, I
Oh
don't,
sure.
but I mean, I looked
Definitely.
online on like Play Asia where you can like import it, but it would have been like the same like $40 price range anyway. So I was like, okay,
Mm.
well, I don't know how you made money off of this, but sure, I'll take it.
That's my villager is a Japanese villager because there was no
Oh,
fucking
nice.
way I was paying what villager was worth when
Oh,
it
yeah.
peaked or whatever. So like I did the same thing. And if you're gonna unbox it, it doesn't matter at all. They are literally identical. Like so it's if you're gonna keep it in the box, different story. But
Yeah.
that's cool, man. Awesome. I would have been tempted by a Shovel Knight too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, the one other thing is that Matt got me a red faction game,
Yeah.
and now that he got it to me, I have to play it. Just like how when you sent me Henry Hadsworth, I like had to play it out of simple courtesy.
Yep, he's gonna have to blow shit up. He has no choice.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good call. I love that you did that. Like, I love that you sent him down the path. That's a good one, man.
I was like,
I didn't
I
understand
had to
what that
make
meant when
sure.
you said that in the
Yeah.
chat. Yeah, I was like, why is he talking about that game? And then he got it for Eli out of nowhere. And it was like, I didn't understand you guys were at that convention. That makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
now. I was like, what's he talking about? Like, he got a game for Eli, so what? Like, or something.
Yeah, I was trying to message
that's
him.
cool.
I'm like, what consoles do you have? I gotta make sure. And then I remember they made the remaster. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to get on last gen. And it was pretty cheap,
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Nice.
I almost
nice,
wanted to
dude.
pick it up again for myself, but I'm like,
Nice. I
yeah,
know that.
maybe not.
I already played it, love it, but yeah, nice, dude.
But
What
yeah,
else did the game show?
Eli and a bunch of the other, I was gonna say panels, other members of the website had a panel on Sunday. It was the top 10 Nintendo games of all time panel, and that was great and also funny for various reasons. Eli,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, we had a fun list. We had rules. We kind of copied IGN's format a few years ago on NBC, where each person could put a game on the top 10 list, take a game off, or swap games, or bump them down. And so it's kind of fun, us going back and forth. At one point, Andrews put Star Fox 64 on the list, and then we all groaned, and he said, if anyone takes it off, I'm putting Assault on the list as a threat. So
Nice.
that was
Nice.
funny. But the funniest part is at the end, we let the audience members come in, and the way we worked it is that like an audience member would make a suggestion, and then at least half the audience would have to like confirm it or reject it. And there were like a few kids there. Like I'd say the median age was probably like 25 years old, 22 years old. But there were like 5 kids there. And at the end, the last kid, we're like, all right, we're gonna give him a
I know
chance
what's
to
gonna
put a
happen.
game on the list. And he goes and puts Splatoon 2 on number 3.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
oh,
God! I thought it was
oh.
Fortnite. I was ready to.
I was gonna say Fortnite. You know,
Oh,
it's
gosh.
Fortnite. Yeah, it's like Fortnite on the list.
So
Yeah.
our rule was that it had to be an exclusive. So Fortnite wouldn't have made it. But he goes ahead and puts Splatoon on number 3.
Amazing. Amazing. Hey, it's a good
we're
game.
just like, well, that's it. Like that was the literally last second. They were gonna kick us out of the room after that. That was the buzzer beater, and Splatoon is now
great.
number 3 on our list.
That's great. That's great. Well, that just shows you how real democracy works. Nothing matters. It doesn't. Like none of your opinions matter. No facts matter anymore. Just Splatoon for number 3. The end. Sorry.
And
That's
the other funny part is that so I had Animal Crossing at I put it at number 5 on the list, the original, and it had withstood several attempts to be taken off. Someone took it off, and I put it back on. In the second to last one, someone's like, Ocarina is missing from the list. I want to put it on, and Ocarina was on the list earlier, but we bumped it off to put Wind Waker on. So this guy was like, all right, I'm putting Ocarina on the list. And he's like looking on the list, couldn't figure out where to put it, and then he's like, number 5, we're taking off Animal Crossing. And so, like, I had to try to defend Animal Crossing from Ocarina of Time, which obviously did not go successfully when it came to the vote, because, like, I was at a disadvantage here. So that was kind of funny, too.
That's sadly like, yeah, not a fight you're gonna win very often unless you're just sort of like me earlier amongst like a sea of people who are like not on the same page with you about a certain game. Yeah, like yeah, that's a tough call, but that's cool. So what was number 1? What did you say it already? What took down the top couple slots or whatever?
So the number 1, so the pictures there, Matt just pasted in the chat. But number 1 was Wind Waker. Number 2 was Super Mario Odyssey. Number 3 was Splatoon 2. Number 4 was Super Mario All-Stars. Number 5, Ocarina of Time. Number 6, Pikmin 2. Number 7, Star Fox 64. Number 8, Smash Melee. Number 9, Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Number 10, Mario Galaxy 2. It's a very interesting list.
This was the one after people like voted and put in
Yeah. This is including the audience.
Right.
That's why
That's really interesting to me. No wonder no wonder all the big websites get all the hate mail when all their lists written by people, I don't know, say my age, are super heavy on NES and Super NES, and all y'all youngins are like, dude, these lists are stupid. Like, where's this other game? And it's super funny because I see that split coming more and more. And I have already thought about, like, how long is it till your generation takes over gaming journalism and those lists start to turn and you don't see Super Mario 1 NES and, at the top of every list, or Super Mario 3 at the very least. Like, that's coming but the thing is, like, a generation above you still sort of rules the roost. So at the best, you guys are going to get stuff on N64 making the top 10s for, like, professional journalism lists, and like now it's like I'm starting to see that age turn, and when I hear a list like yours, I'm like, lols, Mario Odyssey at number 2, lol. And I know, like I know it's like partly audience, and I know it's not very scientific or whatever, but it's still like funny in a way. I'm like, that game just came out, you guys, come on, are you kidding? Whatever. Like,
it's funny, and at one point Andrew was like, guys, we got to fix this list, there's like 4 Zelda games on here.
Yeah.
Someone was trying to put on like Link's Awakening. I forget if it got on or not. But
which is a good game.
It was fun times.
Which is a good game. But yeah, like you said, like it'll get really imbalanced in a situation like that too, where it's like 4 Zeldas in the top. You're just like, okay.
Like Star Fox 64 honestly shouldn't be on there. I'm surprised no one.
It's a legitimately amazing game. Like that. That's the thing.
Not top 10.
I don't know. I don't think it's so easy.
Let's not start this conversation, actually.
I grant that you may have an argument if you're saying all Nintendo games of all time, but if you're discounting it from the conversation, I don't know that you're right. Like that game is a stellar game. Like it really is, but I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to start our tournament over. I want it in there.
Oh my gosh. No. All right.
What else? Anything else in that tournament?
Yeah, was there anything else you want to add about EGLX, Eli?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun convention. Lots of vendors, lots of esports stuff. They still need more games, I think, to try out. But, I had a fun time.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I guess I'll want to mention this one game. There's an arcade, like arena or whatever. They were all back to back, like in a circle. And I went to go try some out. And I saw one. It's called Joust. And for the little I got to play it, it was great. You're basically a person on an ostrich, and you're like sword fighting other people, but you have to like fly and like knock them in the air and whatnot. And then obviously if you get hit, you'll like die. And I think you have like 3 lives or something, but there's like 6 different people on the screen, and it was pretty fun. I sucked at it, but they should put on that Nintendo NES service, even though they probably won't.
It actually did appear on NES. I don't own it. It was I actually never knew it came to NES. The original Joust. Mike, I mean, I know Mike's played Joust. It's a classic arcade game, so it's like it's as famous as it gets. So any y'all kids out there, if you ever played the balloon fight from Nintendo, they ripped it off straight up out of Joust, like for real, like not hyperbole. They copied the exact idea and made Balloon Fight, which is slightly different in mechanics, as I was telling Matt, but they're both worthy games. I don't actually dislike Balloon Fight just because it's a copycat, because it's a little
oh my gosh.
More.
Sorry, I'm laughing because he brought up Balloon Fight, and that was a funny segment of the top 10 panel, where Eli was like, "Oh man, Animal." He starts off somewhere early in the beginning, like, "I don't really care about the NES games. They're not, or like those kind of retro games. They're not as good as you think they are." And then he goes into Animal Crossing, and he's like, "Yeah, Animal Crossing is great. You even have like 10 of these NES games in them, like Balloon Fight."
Hey, Balloon Fight is good.
And everyone's making fun of him. They're like poking fun at Balloon Fight.
Yeah, my point at the beginning was, I'm like, all these top 10 lists so often have old games on them, and honestly, old games just aren't even that good anymore. Like, if you played them today for the first time, they wouldn't be that great. And then I went and defended my Animal Crossing pick by citing Balloon Fight, and people are like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, yeah. Wait for it. Don't be too loud with that old games aren't so great opinion until you age a few more years, and then you will find out how much that hurts your heart to hear the youngins say it. You're like, and you just don't understand why Pokemon Red, whatever you guys just voted for, is fucking awesome, guys. And they're gonna be like, yeah, Grandpa, yeah, it's black and white. You do know that, right? Like that game sucks. Like, yeah. So just wait for it. Just wait for it, guys. No, that's amazing. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would have loved it, although I would have had to storm out of the room like 19 times and then come back in. I was still curious.
They, if you're inclined, they re-recorded the whole thing. It's like an hour. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I would just be angry, but
I mean that's fine. You should live stream you watching it, and we can all have fun watching you get angry at all the youngins making fun of your games.
Me and Mike just like pausing and critiquing all the opinions, and it would just be like a stream of its own. Like, yeah, good stuff. That's great. I'm glad you played in our classic arcade game. At least one, you gave it a shake and agreed that it was at least somewhat fun. So I'm proud of you. That is great.
All right, so I think we'll move on there. Mike, have you been playing anything lately?
Just a few. No, all right. I finished all of WarioWare Gold. I beat New Super Mario Brothers Wii. I beat all of Super Mario Party. I went back to Odyssey and I got every single costume. I feel like there's more. I was replaying Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm at the end of that game. I feel like there's two other games I beat and I can't remember. Oh, I'm at like the last world of 3D World. They're like a world, like 2 worlds away. There's something else though I'm missing. I'm at the end. I beat another game. Oh well.
It sounds like you're on a Mario tear. Holy crap! That was like 4 Mario games alone, I think.
Oh really? Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like that Mario guy. It's pretty cool. Got some good games. But all right. So Super Mario. Anyone who doesn't know, New Super Mario Brothers Wii is the shitty Wii one. That what was their catch? The propeller head. And that game is the first multiplayer Mario game. Blah blah blah. It's trash. Never play it. Like it's so bad. That is like the worst New Super Mario Brothers. That's why like when New Super Mario Brothers U came out, I had like no faith in it because I hated it so bad. I beat it with Phil and Joey, so I actually did it all multiplayer. If you ever really want to play real multiplayer platform game, play Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. They're both two of like great platformers in itself, and they've kind of perfected the multiplayer within platforming. But yeah, Origin. I say Origins and Legends because they're kind of different from each other. They're similar, but I don't know. Something about the two games. Like I think those games are like perfection of multiplayer platform.
Wait, why are we playing New Super Mario Brothers Wii now?
I played it way back when, and I was like, I want to finish this. And then unfortunately, I was on Phil's Wii, so I just had to beat the whole game with everybody. So, just classic problems. Let's see. So yeah, the New Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, when you made out that Super Mario 3D World, I love that game. It's so perfect. I'm doing that game 4 players, so it's the first time I'm doing it 4 player, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a little bit more chaotic, but that's a game I really hope they kind of make a sequel to for the Switch or any type of way. I mean, I know they made Captain Toad for the Switch, but that's the easy game compared to Super, 3D World. Like if they make a 3D World 2, it'd be awesome if they use the Odyssey engine. That'd be like pretty amazing. Like I don't want like an Odyssey 2 or Odyssey 2 DLC campaign. I'd rather would have like a 3D World with Odyssey 2, like Odyssey engine. Let's see. WarioWare Gold. Okay, my review on that game, I'd say 7 out of 10. It wasn't as good as previous WarioWares. It's kind of like a reboot is the best way to say it. It was like, here's all the games from WarioWare GBA, but slower and easier and remade with better textures. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I mean, I know it has voice acting and a little bit of a story kind of thing going in it, but that doesn't really play any part into it at all. And it's just, I love WarioWare, but it just was like, I don't want to say it's more of the same because WarioWare is always that, but it was more of the original game just dumbed down. If that's the best way to say it. So, blah on that.
That's unfortunate to hear. I was like, that's the kind of game I would pick up eventually if I could get my DS working again. And when you said you beat it in like a day, you play games. The listeners should know you're pretty good at games, and you play games a little bit more faster than some people might.
It's just simple game.
You can crush a game, but still, a day for Mike might be 2 or 3 days for a regular gamer. Maybe 4 at the outside. So,
like, dude, if you sit on the toilet, like, if you have bad gas that day, you're gonna beat WarioWare. Right? Like, that's my review. You got gas, 1 day game. All right?
No one say Mike does not deliver on the opinions. Let no one say this.
I figured out, by the way, the other 2 games I beat. I forgot to tell you guys. I got the Xbox Game Pass for the month. It was free for 2 weeks, so I was like, you know what? I finally could play 2 games. 2 out of 3 Xbox games I've always wanted to play. Well, 2 out of 4, but I played Halo 5 before. I wanted to play Super's Lucky Tale, which is a platformer that was only for Oculus Rift, and then it's only for Xbox. And I wanted to play ReCore. That's a game created by, I believe, the Metroid Prime director or something like that.
No, it was Keiji Inafune.
That's it.
Yeah.
I thought people from Prime worked on ReCore. I don't know why I thought.
Yeah, I don't really know the team itself. I just know he was there, like, as a producer role or something to that extent.
Yeah, I think there were some former Prime devs on it.
Yeah. I'll go into Super's Lucky Tale. That was fun. I actually enjoyed the game. I didn't play it obviously with Oculus Rift. I just played it regular. I plugged in my controller to my computer. Very fun open 3D world game. It had like some 2D side-scrolling elements. It was like a mix of like it was like a lighter Banjo-Kazooie meets a lighter Donkey Kong Country. That's the best way I could say it. Like when I say lighter, I just mean like in the sense like the levels wouldn't be as big or as intricate and all that. I know it has 2 DLC worlds I didn't play. I don't really care. But all in all, I think it took me about 5 days, about 5.5 days to get all 1,000, every single achievement while beating the game. So it was, it was pretty. I enjoyed it. I really did like it. That was a game I wanted, and I did enjoy it. Very fun game. So if you're ever looking to kill some time with a good platformer, definitely check that game out. ReCore, I had a lot of expectation for that game. It's something I've been looking at for a while. I'd say it was a bit disappointing. I know I got to play the definite version of ReCore. So the one that got like fixed up and the one with the DLC map area. The problem with ReCore is the game is a bit barren and the story's kind of trash. And they want you to care for the characters. And for the first hour or 2, I did. And it's funny, like a lot of reviews will say the same thing. Like the game starts off very hot, but after that, it's a bit too barren. I mean, everything is out in the open. Like, it makes it easy in that sense where it's like, and I'm not saying it's an easy game. I'm saying it makes it easy where it's like, okay, here's every single audio book, and here's where these, like, crystals are. You can see them on your map all the time, unlike compared to, like, Metroid, where you would not know where an energy tank or a super missile, another super missile upgrade would be. You wouldn't know where that is. Like, you would be able to find it through, like, hints. Here, you kind of explore, like, an empty world. You jump into some dungeon areas. They time you. Combat's pretty cool. I really did enjoy it. I think the 3D platforming is the best aspect in that game. Like, I really think it's like super smooth and like, if they're ever gonna make like a 3D platforming gun game, like, I'm actually gonna like when Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I know that's in first person and this game's in third person, but the platform was just so smooth in ReCore that it's actually really cool. Like, I did appreciate it. I think the gameplay is fantastic. I just think the story and the characters were weak. That's about it. Like, it was a great game. I know it's only $20, so I definitely give it like an 8 out of 10. If anyone owns an Xbox or has the Xbox Game Pass, check that game out. I check out all the games I just said. They're all on the Xbox. Other than that, I've been playing some Smash again. Hyped for the new Smash. That's really about it.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Cool.
Well, it's a lot of games to comment on. I mean, you clearly have had a few times on your hands recently to knock out a couple games off your games list.
Yeah, I was like all for like a week, so I was like, okay, I guess I could do these. You know what I mean? I went to BlizzCon. Sorry about that. I went to BlizzCon also, which was pretty cool. I got to play the new Overwatch hero, and I was there for the World Cup. And I know Warcraft 3 is coming out, and I got to play a little demo of that. But other than that, I mean, whatever. Like that was cool, I guess.
Nice.
Did you take
Very
any more
good.
photo ops there?
Yeah, there is enough photo ops. I just haven't really put anything out, but yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to BlizzCon, like unless it's like a long period of time. Like I really love Overwatch, and I only somewhat like their other IPs. Like I would go to Nintendo Con, but like it's like asking me to go to like Sony Con when they don't even all the things I like from Sony aren't even there anymore. You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it is. Actually, it would be like Xbox Con. I would just go there for the Halo. Like I went to BlizzCon just for Overwatch. But I think this week Spyro's coming out, or is that next week on the 13th or something like that? So that's like the next game I'm looking to kind of bang out, and maybe if I pick up Spooderman.
Nice.
I'm like, I know the street that he's on. I work there.
Small world. Very good. We don't have any news this week, do we? Do we, Matt?
We have Smash, bro.
I know.
I'm
kidding. I'm being ironic because we're still not through the intro section of the show. But I'll keep my what's we've been playing super quick so we can jump to that because I want to hear all about you guys' thinks on Smash. But
Sure, go ahead.
yeah. Like no, all I've been playing. I traveled a lot last week, but all I've been playing is more of the Gungeon because I have seen the face of the final form of the boss, but I still haven't taken it down, so I still got a little work to do. It's rough.
I know that feel, dude. Though, but you're like, you gotta go right back. I know what to do, and then you'll mess up like 2 or 3 times earlier than you should be, and you're like, why am I so stupid right now? Like
the craziest thing about that game is it's a game where you start all over from the beginning, like when you die, so you don't get to face the boss again. You have to come from the beginning and re-up all your equipment. It's hard to explain. I've talked about the game a lot, but it's meant to be played that way. That you die. And now you are back to the start. Like that is it. One shot, done. Back to the beginning. You got to be good enough. You have to be drying off your palms before you walk in that final room because you only get one shot. You only have one life, and that is it. Like and you've just spent an hour getting there, and it's like, so it's a little. I need to take a break from it a little bit because I'm starting to hit a wall. But I've gotten the final form of the boss down halfway on his damage meter, which is not sound that good. But trust me, anyone out there who's played Gungeon and has finished it knows what I'm talking about. Like that's actually pretty good. So, but I did start playing Undertale because I do not play RPGs. I do not play that stuff. You guys know that's not my thing.
That game is trash. And it is not an RPG.
It is not trash. I'm going to push back on that, but it is not an RPG in some ways. You're, as everyone knows, except for me on the planet.
To interrupt, it is kind of funny that you're playing Undertale now because the creator just released like another game. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't think it's a full game. I haven't checked it out because I don't really care. But he released something along the lines of
Undertale.
Yeah. But
it's a what?
funny.
It's Undertale.
The title is the title is I forget the title or Deltarune, but it's an anagram of Undertale. So you just swap the letters around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No way.
So
that's cool.
That's kind of funny. The timeline.
I like it. Everybody says it's like super funny.
Mm-hmm.
I have a love for funny games. Like who doesn't like a funny thing? I'm saying that for me, it can push me to play a genre I'm not necessarily likely to play. Like if someone says it's got like really good humor and it delivers.
Well, I absolutely hate it. That's my opinion.
Wow.
So I can't wait for you to play it. I need.
I'm a good way into it. I know it's a very short game, right? I mean, it's relatively short. I'm pretty far into it, and I'm liking it. So I can already say
the music is godly though.
It is.
It's great.
Honestly, like Megalovania and like Future Lab, like I even know the tracks. I listen to them. I'm like, this music is so well done. Like that is the only comment I'll ever give that game because I don't like anything about the game other than the music. I think the music is like the best. It could have one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life.
It is very good. I agree with that. Like I like it a lot. I've been playing it. I was playing it on headphones on the plane a lot, but now that I got home and dropped it in the dock, I can hear it a lot better, and it is definitely even better than I thought before. But I really like the humor of it. I don't care that I could see why someone who wants a pure RPG with like science and like depth to the combat system would think this is garbage because half of it is just comedy where you're clicking around in the menus and you're using your secondary attacks that aren't supposed to do anything to beat bosses. Like instead of like actually fighting them, you're like trying to forgive them or you're trying to do something goofy to like win the match. And like it's playing on jokes like the end of Earthbound. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It's kind of playing on the jokes that are like embedded in Earthbound and other really early RPGs like that. But the humor alone, and I really, really like that the combat isn't just menus. I just cannot stand that about those kind of games, and that you actually have to like do a video game during the combat, even though it's usually really easy. It's like, well, so far as I've gotten in the game, the combat is ridiculously easy. In the twin stick shooter or whatever you want to call it part, where you go the combat box or whatever, but it's enough to keep me interested. But the humor and the dialogue, like I can't tell you, I've taken like 10 screenshots in probably only 2 hours of playing, which is a lot for me, because I'm laughing so hard at whatever the character said to me that like I want to save it so I can remember it like for later and laugh at it again. So I'm enjoying it, but I could completely see why it wouldn't suit someone who wants like a true RPG or whatever, like with that experience. But I'm enjoying it. So I'm the last person on the planet to play it, so I don't think our listeners need to hear a whole lot more about it, other than that, if you haven't played it but you like classic NES style RPGs with a flair for humor, then you might want to check it out, because that's what drew me to it and is keeping me with it. And it is easy. It's easy as all heck so far. So it's very casually like entertaining to me, just like compared to Gungeon, which is the complete opposite, which is like makes your eyeballs like cry tears of blood like after 3 seconds. It's like Undertale's like press a button and win almost. But like it's fun. I'm liking it. So
cool. I never would have expected you to play it, so it's interesting to hear you.
Yeah, let me know when you end how you feel about it. So what really makes Undertale though is supposed to be the lore and the depth past the game. That's what made it's like the Freddy Fazbear's, man, Five Nights at Freddy. Like what made that game was not just the game. It was what was written past and about these characters, and it became a cultural phenomenon. And it's like, I mean, trust me, like after I did, like, yeah, you know me, like if I'm gonna go into something, I'll go full in, and like I literally spent like 2 hours reading Wikipedia like pages of like shit about this game after I did it, because I was like, I can't have unjustified hate. But, yeah.
Mike's got to do full research analysis to just so
I can be like, okay, now it's cool for me to hate it. I know everything about it.
Mike is such an interesting person.
Usually
people are just like, I'm gonna not pay attention to any of this and just like hate it and follow in my biases. Mike is like, no, I'm gonna prove that it sucks, and I'm gonna do more research than you could ever imagine.
I gotta go in, all right? The guy put some effort, I gotta give some effort.
No, I agree with that stance 100%. Like I will watch a whole series of a TV show I hate before I quit, because of the same reasoning. I'm like, I don't want to sound ignorant when I tell you why I think Arrested Development is not funny. Thank you very much. Like, and everybody else is like, it's the greatest show of all time, and I'm like, that show. Really,
yep.
Like,
on a side note, I was gonna say, I forgot to say, when I went back to Odyssey, I finally played that Luigi balloon mode, and that was actually really fun. I did not know that game that would be that fun. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's a little free mode, but I was like, dude, this is Nintendo made a fun free mode. So.
Yeah. Check out Donkey's video on it and how insane some of the people place them.
Yeah,
he's like within a fraction of a second, and he has to go like halfway across the map. It's insane.
That's great. Well, that's enough of all that. Yeah, we should get to the news for sure.
We should move on to the news. So Nintendo decided out of nowhere to release a Smash Direct, and which was unfortunate because I was working on a video and like half of it was based around not knowing information. It's like, oh great, now I got to kind of like rework it so it still works after they launch the video, because then I'm gonna look stupid. So that was fun dealing with that. But it was a 40-minute direct, and it was pretty long direct, longer than any of the other ones, especially for a single game. But a lot of information came out. I'm not going to go over it. I'm sure everyone knows, and if not, I can just answer questions because I have info. But what did you guys think of this last direct for Smash?
I'll go last. I talked a lot.
Yeah, where's Eli? Eli hasn't talked hardly at all. Eli, your turn.
I don't remember everything exactly because it was last, Thursday? But I thought it was really hyped me up. Smash for me is not my favorite Nintendo series. not really close. Like I really enjoy playing it with my friends, but most of the time, like it comes out, I play it a little bit with my friends when it comes out, and then I'm not the type of person that continuously comes back to it like I know a lot of other Nintendo people do. So for me, when Smash comes out, it's like, oh yes, I'll buy it, of course, but like I don't get as hyped for it as I think some other people do, especially when we got incredible titles like Animal Crossing coming out soon next year that like I saved my hype for.
Oh my god.
Get ready to rearrange your furniture.
You're like, how much are they paying you to say this?
Yo, can I trade you some bells, my friend? Come on.
So watching the direct though actually really hyped me up, and then I think also that in combination with going to EGLX and playing probably an hour of Smash Bros combined, really hyped me up for Smash. So it's more like I think not the specifics and the details, but just playing the game and seeing more and more of it and how epic it is and how much there is there. And actually, I'm kind of excited for the story mode too, which I know that other people like really don't give a shit about, but it looks like it's actually going to be good this time. All that stuff just gets me more hyped. And I'm sorry I can't speak more sophisticated about this. I actually wrote a preview for Ridley on the site and wrote a disclaimer at the top and said, I'm not a professional gamer, so take everything I write with a grain of salt. But yeah, it just hyped me up more for the game, and I've got an excitement for this Smash that I didn't really have for the last two, so that's exciting.
I'm glad to
Awesome.
hear that. This is cool.
Awesome. I can comment and say I think the direct did have that effect for many people because I got multiple emails from my little casual more friends and us like saying that they really liked it, what I think of it, and that kind of thing. And I could sense it was like interest, like in a general way, like kind of it did its job, like to show off like content. And it was really long, which is surprising that people would put the time into watching something that long, considering these days on the internet, if it's longer than 3 minutes, nobody cares, you know? So it's like, that's cool. It's cool to hear it had that effect on you too. Neat. Matt, you haven't talked very much this episode yourself. Like, why don't you give us a little bit of a read of what you thought of it?
Okay, so I don't know if any of you heard of the Grinch leak. I'm sure Mike has at least.
No, I you know me in leaks. I don't, you know.
Okay,
I
well,
run away from them. I looked. Don't worry. Right after the direct, that was the first thing I did. I went to go look at it.
gotcha. So I have no personal restraint, so I looked at it anyway, which doesn't matter because it didn't come true anyway. But basically, like every fan favorite character you could think of was there, and it seems ridiculous at first, but some other things were coming out that made it seem more credible, even if some of the art things fell off. And just things that the leaker or the faker couldn't have accounted for, like Banjo was like listed on the Nintendo UK website, like all the Banjo games, which felt weird, and like Banjo was like relicensed like after this leak came out, and like Banjo was on the Grinch leak, to be fair. And like the whole thing of the Grinch leak was there was promotional art of the Grinch in there to kind of make it seem like, oh, okay, this is like it at an actual like printing station. It's not just like someone, you know, printed it off on their desk and just left it there, because like you can see actual workstations and whatnot, or printing presses or whatnot. Anyway, long story short, I sort of had some inkling maybe some of those would come through, and they were all ripped apart in like the assist trophies section. They're like, here's all the characters anyone wanted. Yeah, they're all gone. That was heartbreaking and funny. But
the clarified, the guy put out a picture and of that final portrait of the characters, and it had Banjo and Shadow and everything Matt
Isaac
wanted.
and, like,
Literally was like Matt's character. And it, you know, and like while there was some stuff against it, there was, you know, enough for it from what I read after, and it was like, okay. And yeah.
But I mean,
that's what you get for having hope, young.
Like,
just stop the hope.
I didn't think all of them were going to come. I figured, okay, maybe I'll get lucky and like one of these will come. They didn't, which is whatever. Neither here nor there. I got Simon. I said that's all I wanted, and that was fine. So that was cool.
Hey man, you got one.
I did.
You wanted.
And
I mean,
I wanted the other characters
Tails,
look cool too.
Banjo, and I wanted Bomberman, and you know
Oh,
what
man,
Sakurai gave me?
You got slapped.
He He gave me Villager or whatever the name
All the
is.
new characters look pretty cool, to be fair. But
Mike, you got your all-time King K rule. Don't even
Oh,
start
yeah.
crying.
you're right. I told you
Number
guys I
one.
cried when King K rule came out.
You guys, you got your number one. You do not get to cry again. You got your number
But
one.
I know clearly I wanted Shrek and or Goku.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, my number ones are so out of left field. I will never get them in a billion jillion years. So it's like, congratulations. Way to get.
On a serious note, before we go more into the news, what would have a better chance? Would Phoenix Wright have a better chance? Okay, or would Banjo Kazooie have a better chance?
Banjo.
I'd say Banjo, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, that's all I wanted to hear. So my hopes aren't dead. Okay.
Yeah. No, that Banjo is such a big hype train behind it that it's very likely for the next one or DLC.
Yeah.
I'd even say. And
Okay,
Matt's
cool. I didn't want to be like, yo.
I defer to Matt's opinion. Matt, when I say it, after all those articles you wrote for Source Gaming and everything about this topic, you are the expert here, but that is my take on it. There's not even a question that it could be on the table for Banjo for a game, unless you think the rare conflict.
Phil Spencer
Nah.
says it's cool. That's
Yeah,
good
so
enough.
Phil Spencer says it's cool. Banjo is popular in Japan as well as the West.
Yeah. What do you give it? What's the rank?
I don't know. On a bunch of polls, you'll see he ranks pretty high. I haven't seen Phoenix Wright on any poll, and I mean, I guess he is more relevant now, ish, compared to Banjo, but I don't think he would drum up that much hype. I'm sure people would know of Phoenix Wright, but they're like, eh.
Yeah.
I don't know. He would just be weird in I know he's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but he still doesn't really feel like a fighter. It's just, I don't know, weird. That's a personal thing.
Funny.
Anyway.
He's funny. Assist trophy. Let's give him assist trophy. Yeah, come on.
That'd be cool. But I don't know. I was kind of mixed on this direct. There's some things I liked, some things I wasn't crazy for. The whole spirits thing is really weird. It just seems like it might be more busy work than anything else. The battles are fine. You just fight other characters and they change the properties of either the character or the stages. One of them is the whole stage is on fire, so that's different than any other event matches they've made. So they're actually changing some things there, but I don't know about equipping them and then you have your primary ones and then your support ones and then you can level them up and send them to get stuff and train them and all this stuff. It just seems pointless. It's how much is this really going to affect it, and how much am I going to care? None. Same with the Smash 4 equipment. You really only equip anything if you come to a battle that seems more difficult, and the fun part is maybe I'll have equip this weird item, this weird equipment that'll give me this item, and it'll make the battle more interesting and also easier. But for the most part, you'll probably just be able to get through it fine. I don't know. It depends how much they change, because they are changing some other stuff. So
before we go on any further, I talked to you about this in the chat. Now, maybe misunderstanding the spirits thing, because I tried to watch a video twice. I still felt I was confused, and I thought, you know what, this is perfect for talking about it in the show, because if I'm the only one, if I'm not understanding after watching it at least partially twice, there's other people out there. So the spirits mode.
Hold on, before we go.
Sorry.
Because I want to hold Eli back. Eli says he has to head out, so let him on his way.
Yeah, sorry about leaving, although it's been an hour or so.
Yeah.
I mean, now Smash means another hour, so
But have fun talking about Smash. Yeah, find me on Twitter at Paul Salon. Please vote tomorrow if you're a U.S. citizen, and read my work on NintendoEnthusiast.com.
And if you're not a U.S. citizen, just sleep in.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. If you're literally anywhere other than America, you can sleep in tomorrow. You live in America, no sleeping, at all tonight. Just not
Actually,
allowed.
it's still a weekday, so you probably can't sleep in. But do it anyway. Show up late to work and spit in your boss's face. I don't know. Just
And blame it on
for
the
one day.
Americans.
Yeah,
blame it on,
exactly. America made me do it.
All right. Peace,
All right.
Eli.
See you, Eli.
See ya.
So back to the
spirits
question.
mode.
So the spirits.
Yeah.
I get it. Let me go through what I understand and then tell me
Okay.
what I don't understand.
Wait, I didn't even get to talk about my opinion on it.
Hold-
All right, but you go
hold
first.
on.
We could probably answer this.
You can, I mean, because you can weigh in on this and help explain this. But let me ask this: like the spirits, you are. First of all, are they going to be a part of primary Smash, or is this a special mode that you have to select to play against people?
Spirits. Okay.
Is
The spirits are like the
hold
best
on.
way I could say it is like think of Subspace and whatever it's called, Subspace. Okay. Remember how you used to put stickers on the trophy of the character and they enhance the stats of said thing?
But in main
So-
Smash, or only in some special mode?
So I
Only
have some
in
notes
Subspace.
here. Yeah. So you can't. I forget if they showed it or not. I don't think you can use it in regular Smash. You can. It works like equipment, so you can feed it to your amiibo, and it's the same as Smash 4 equipment there.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
You can't play spirit mode or whatever. You know
I don't
what I mean?
think you can play it in regular Smash because part of that whole thing with Smash 4 was you would have a profile because you had custom moves, and custom moves aren't coming back. So I don't think you can actually do that here. So you only really have like profiles and levels in the spirits mode. So that's how that works.
So it's sort of like when you like equipped amiibo in the last one. Like, it's not really Smash. It's like this other thing, because like you couldn't bring your amiibo into online. And,
Okay,
like,
but when they would play that mode, they were normal characters. It's the best, like I said, the best way to look at it is Subspace. So you would get stickers and you put them at the bottom of your character.
Oh,
So
I
I used to
remember
give
that.
Mario Paper Mario 1 and like a few others, and I would give him more defense and make him quicker. But that only worked for that single player mode. It's the same thing though with your amiibo. When you give him your stickers and souls or whatever spirits, then then you could be like, then you fight him, or he plays with you in first player mode, and he is buffed up essentially. But otherwise, it doesn't do anything. You just collect them and then you add them to you know when you're playing single player or to your amiibo. You can't go. I'm gonna play Smash and I'm using my spirit character. Like that doesn't it doesn't exist. There's no I'm not fighting my fox spirit with someone else. Like you just literally.
That's what I just didn't understand, because like, so it's sort of like custom characters in the last one. Like if you choose to play custom characters, fine, but most of the time you're not going to be playing custom characters. You're just going to be playing Smash, and the spirits is just like a side game, or like a diversion,
it's a separate mode
or something.
Yeah, it's essentially like a separate mode that just enhances the first player mode and the amiibo customization. That's like the best way I can say it. It's like they don't want you to like just collect them all for single player mode and that's it. They want you to maybe like, oh, I'll put it on my amiibo and my amiibo is better than yours. Also, because I got this, this special spirit that you haven't even unlocked yet.
Okay, because that's what I was worried about, and like it confirms what I was thinking, which like I don't want to be a spoil sport. I freaking love Smash. I love playing it. I am amateur as fuck, and it's okay. I still enjoy playing the game, just not against someone like Mike. But my first thought was I was like, all right. The thing that sucks about this is like if I don't grind to get spirits, am I going to be at a huge disadvantage all on top of me already like mildly sucking at the game, and like getting online and like, oh, I don't have my like characters buffed out with like a jillion stickers, because I don't really, to be honest, get that much out of that whole like attaching things and experimenting with powers to my characters in games. Like that's not really that fun to me. Like I was really glad they showed that there's a hint system to kind of like tell you, oh, like, because once you have like 20, 30, 40 of these, like going through them is going to be a pain in the butt to someone like me. That's like, I don't really want to sit here for 5 minutes and try to figure out what my optimal like combination of stickers or whatever is. Like I just want to like start playing, and it quickly showed that like, oh, it'll give you an alert like this character would benefit from a fire like stat, or something like that. And I was like, all right, I can live with that, because it just will remind me that like I have an option available, because I'm not gonna like I played the crap out of part 4 and unlocked just a gajillion mods for the characters, for the custom characters, and I realized it was overwhelming. Like it got boring to me because I just couldn't even like think about it. Like I'd go through the menu, I was like, I have literally 400 items in the menu here I can attach to this character, and I that's bully for you if you like that kind of stuff. But I just am not that good, and I'm not that invested. And I'm like, well, okay, so if spirits modes is a separate thing that's more like an entertaining amiibo / custom characters mode.
Yeah, it's also like a mission mode too. Because remember, you could unlock special spirits like the old. Oh, you haven't really played Melee, but Melee first did the mission mode, and it was like, oh, fight, Dark Link, and it was the only way you could ever fight like a black version of Link, and he actually looked like a Shadow. And it's like this one, remember, it had like the fight, let's just say Shadow the Hedgehog, and it had like 2 Sonics with a black costume. Remember that in the trailer? It was like it was showing different things. It was like fight this classic thing.
They're event matches.
Yeah,
so
they're
like
they're
so
just
you unlock
like
souls through this fun mission mode thing.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, because I didn't really like Subspace Emissary. I beat it, but I thought it was kind of boring because it felt like I think the controls don't work right for Smash and those kind of things. I just feel like it's weird to play a scrolling game, but I'm willing to give it another try. It looked like they're putting a lot of work into it, and the cutscenes and stuff they showed just from these demo reels are like cool. I have to protest that Kirby is going to be the hero of the whole thing to start out with anyway. But whatever.
I like that. It's
come
an
on,
ode to his own thing.
Come on, Kirby, really though? Kirby survived. All those other motherfuckers got blown up. You got to be kidding me! Like, come on, like,
dude. I honestly don't like really care when it comes to that thing. I'm like, it's cool. Kirby. I'm like, that's Sakurai's guy. Like, Kirby. I'm really honestly hoping Meta Knight's the second character. It comes out of nowhere kind of thing. That's how he always does. I really like that first-person map thing. Is that since I just beat Star Allies like last month, and I was like, it kind of gave me that vibe, the overworld thing. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just kind of excited. I was like, this is cool. Like, he kind of, since he hasn't really worked on the Kirby game as much, like, he has a Kirby design for the single player mode. I thought that looked cool.
No, I'm teasing anyhow. If you want to be truly technically
they
dirty,
they can't do any other character. Kirby's the most unbiased character too. Like, even if they picked Mario, people would have been mad.
But there are characters that have better powers than him that could have escaped from the aliens faster. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, you're kidding me.
But what
like,
character are we talking about?
Zero Suit has a spaceship.
Dude, that thing is shooting at the speed of light. A spaceship ain't gonna do anything, okay?
And so how does a little star surfboard beat those guys?
Because it's a galaxy part star.
We'll end it here. It's the power of the cuteness that beats everything. That's how.
I just was like rolling my eyes at that part. I was like, you kidding me? Like, right? Like, come on. Like, Mew. Like, isn't Mew your boy, and he's like the most powerful Pokemon of all time, or whatever? Like,
yeah, what's he gonna do? He can't do anything. What is he gonna talk to somebody with telekinesis or something? Be like, yo, hey man,
he can teleport. Dang it!
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Like, he can disappear.
The only
like
should have lived
half the Pokemon can teleport there.
That's the only 2 characters. Okay, every other character is actual shit. Right? But
anyway, so Mike, what do you think of the game? Since
I'm actually really excited for his Cineroar. I mean, I don't care for the character or the game, but I think he's just so like well made. It just looks super cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the best way to say it? His design makes the game look fun. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's got like his whole cool thing, like where he does that little taunt after each move, and he's got like all these special types of moves. I'm like, dude, I just want to play him for the shit of fun because he looks really fun. I'm glad they put my boy Ken in and they gave him that versus ode. Other than that, man, I just super excited. Like, I knew single player mode was gonna be a new Subspace. The reason why I knew is because they have so many cutscenes. I was like, dude, you can't have all these cutscenes. You're gonna tell me there's no single player mode. I know Smash 4 did have cutscenes, but they were like kind of like out of like in universe, aka out of universe. Like, this game had so many cutscenes with everyone together in universe, and I was just like, there's no way they're not gonna do something with this. The multiplayer looks awesome. Like, all the modes they added to it. I know you don't like the GP map from your tweet, but it's like, I think that's cool because so now like Clay doesn't have to fight Jimmy Go Hard. You know what I mean? Like, freaking, they're like, get a big bayonetta and ruin everyone's life, and it's like, you're trash. And it's like Clay's just trying to play. Now they'll keep people akin to his skill level, and they still, if Clay wants to play items or 2v2 or only Battlefield, like, it's so much freedom and customization in it.
Yeah, I like that. You can basically customize, like, rather than just for fun and we'll tell you what you like and you do it, and then
what you
the other
don't
one
like.
where is just all Final Destination stages. You can just choose whatever not lobbies, whatever. You choose whatever setup you want, and they'll pair you with someone similar to that at the very least. So
Let me
that's
ask
pretty
you guys this. You Pokemon experts, because like I had never heard of Incineroar ever before in my life. Like quite literally have never heard of him. But what I saw in the video and what I suspect his like kind of uniqueness and the reason he got picked to Smash, is it because he's like wrestling type? Is that correct to assume the video? And is there any other character that plays like a wrestling type now that I think about it? Like after
In
that hit, I
Smash?
was like, wait a
No,
second.
I don't think so.
I was like, this is a huge like oversight that I've never heard someone bring up. I'm sure it's been brought up a billion times by nerdier people than me, but I was like, just looking at his body shape and the way they were like his moves and his like kind of taunts, I was like, pro wrestling is enormous in Japan. It is insane that there's no wrestling type character in the game prior to this that's like truly like wrestling fighting type. Like that's almost the biggest oversight I've ever seen addressed in a way like this, where it was like, okay, like, you know, they've gone out of their way to balance the roster with more like male female characters these days. They're definitely taking it into account, like trying to give you like at least like shadow cat or whatever you call it, clone characters or whatever, like that, you know, balance the gender gaps and stuff like that. But this, like, I was like, the fighting type of a wrestler is the biggest, like, kind of like I'm sure, I don't know. Did that hit you guys the way it hit me? I was like, holy crap. Like this opens the door for a whole nother style of fighter in the downloadables and in the future games is the way I took it. So that was cool. I'm excited for it. I'm not even in wrestling. I was like, that's awesome. It's a whole different kind of player. I mean, you think of like, I don't know, Michael get it. I forget how much you played Street Fighter, Matt, but I think of like, well, you got Zangief in Street Fighter. You know, he kind of is wrestling.
You got
right,
E Honda, who's a palm
E-Honda.
fighter, and then they got
Right.
Balrog, who only punches. He's
Right,
he's
right.
a boxer in a street fighting game. So like you're doing talking about kicks, and this guy literally all four of his buttons are punch. You know.
Right. So I don't
like
know. I'm
you know
excited.
that's why I think this game looks cool. They have characters kind of like that, where it's just like, you know, like I mean, think like what Mega Man was in Smash 4. You know, like it's like what the heck, this guy doesn't have a jab. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, reinventing the game via fighting type is just like my brain exploded when I realized. I was like, oh my god, they don't have a wrestler in this game, and I was just trying to think of it. I was like, I don't think there is.
Dude, that was the best way to add another heavy that wasn't King K. Rool. You know what I mean? Like, because I've heard rumors that Ridley's pretty light, but what do you call it? Like to add like this kind of character is like, dude, this is a cool way to add a heavy rather than like a giant character who everyone feels like, oh, I can't land because they're too big and it's stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Now they have like a kind of a beefy character like this.
So you think he is confirmed to be like a heavy class like
I
fighter?
know, he's not confirmed, but I'm just saying it seems like that way. Like, you know what I mean? He just seems like the heavy type. Like, there's no way you're gonna make him a wrestler and he's gonna be like, oh man, at 80, he's got red percent.
I agree with you. He's not gonna be light. I was just curious because like his size didn't tell it to me, and when I didn't analyze it that closely, but his size wasn't like, oh look, there's Bowser, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's a cool, interesting way to look at it. It's not, you know, you're not looking at a heavy that's like the size of King Dedede and Donkey Kong. I'm saying like it just seems like a cool idea to have, you know, a stocky character, like kind of beefy.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
like same thing with Ryu. Ryu's technically a heavy, you know, and he's not, you know.
Yeah, that's weird. He's one of the shortest characters.
Yeah, but they with the body model of him with his muscles popping out of like his fucking forehead, like so. I mean,
that's not good. And you can tell when you hit him and he doesn't move anywhere.
Like, he's just like, he's like, you didn't even touch me. Like, you took me the first time you fight him. You're like, oh, this guy is not gonna move. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, it's 60 now. He'll move.
I'm surprised how big how big King K. Rool is. I saw a fight with him versus Incineroar. And that guy's like huge.
He's
really tall. I'm like this. He must be like 7 feet. Like
he could be the biggest character from the looks of him. Like I mean, just at the glance, I don't know if that's true, but like
I think he could be like the widest, like the heaviest, fattest. I don't know. I'm really excited to see like the actual heaviest character now since there's 2 others. You know what I mean? It used to be King Dedede, and then it got patched out, and it turned out to be like Bowser. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, there's so many now. It's not the 3 of Donkey Kong, Bowser, King K. I mean, and King Dedede. You know, there's more characters now that'll be like, oh, this guy's actually the heaviest.
Yup. It's good stuff. Yeah, that was neat. Like it was kind of weird for me. It was a lackluster final character to reveal, like
Yeah.
quote final DLC, because I was like, I don't know who this is. This isn't like drop, but I mean, like the leaks and everyone knew Ken was in it like weeks ago. Even I heard that they'd.
Well, he
found
was part
data.
of that Grinch leak. The only thing correct about it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well,
Like
that was
I
a
had
fluke. Everyone was pretty much predicting Ken, and like the last month or so, people like insiders have been saying like Ken and Incineroar would be the last two.
Yeah, I've heard that for a while as well.
I was so it was a little lackluster for that to be the final thing, but then that wasn't because PD Piranha and I was.
No, it's not PD, just regular Piranha, which I don't
just
understand. How could it not be PD Piranha?
It's not PD. It's confirmed
No.
not PD.
No.
It's just Piranha. The character is just Piranha Plant. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, well,
it's
Piranha
literally
Plant.
a Piranha Plant. It's like putting
I
a
love it.
Goomba. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan. Like, I love that video that you posted, Matt, that I retweeted because I laughed out loud 5 times at it when there's a meme going around about like who wanted this character. Like this is Sakurai's punishing us all
Oh
for the
yeah,
leak.
yeah.
He's
like, thanks for leaking all this. Know what I'm gonna do? Scrap them, and you're getting Piranha Plant.
Yeah, I saw that. That is funny.
I was laughing my head off at that. That was really funny. And it said like, who wanted this character? I'm like, I did. I'm like raising my hand at my computer. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I'm like, I want to.
I think his final smash is if he turns into PD Piranha. But it's just
he summons him.
Yeah, he summons him. That was the one thing I didn't understand. I was like, I like the idea, but I just was like, man, PD Piranha would have been cool. Now that made me just like want PD Piranha more than Piranha. You know what I mean?
Well, there's always the next game. There's always the next.
No, I mean, dude, we're rumored 5 characters, okay, and I heard all 5 of them are everything I specifically want. So I'm like, nice. Paper Mario. They're gonna make Bomberman an actual fighter. We're gonna get Banjo-Kazooie. I was like, this is great.
Henry Hatsworth. Oh, it's gonna be great. Henry Hatsworth. Purple Tank.
Vaddy.
So amazing.
It's gonna be great.
I was like,
you couldn't even get into Hyrule Warriors.
So, but dude, but on the side note, I did mention Mario. There's a rumor. It doesn't matter for you, Clay, but rumor, Matt, right now that Delfino Island is gonna come as DLC.
What are you talking about? Doesn't matter.
It's in the game already.
Sunshine.
Sunshine's terrible, first off, and second off, you don't play Odyssey.
Wait, you're talking about Odyssey? No,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. Someone made like a fake leak about that like 6 months ago.
Okay. I'm just saying it's been resurfacing on my thing. So
okay.
The one thing is though,
I don't think it's gonna happen because like I think it's been too long, and people have been saying like with Odyssey or like, oh man, yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, yeah, that'll definitely get DLC. It's been like a year, hasn't got it. Or Mario.
It's been I didn't think Mario Kart was, but you know, one thing though is there's still costumes that haven't been released. The Santa costume is that guy who data mined the game. He was like 100% accurate. So that one that's not part of the same guy. But I was relooking. Like I was like, you know what? I have everything for Odyssey now. Let me relook. And it was like, oh, this guy predicted everything correctly for Odyssey. I was like, oh, let me see. And it was just him playing every costume I just unlocked like 5 months ago before they were released. So I was like, okay, he was pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, because he mined the actual game.
He data mined the game.
Like,
so.
It feels like it was a year ago that I saw the zombie Mario. It's like, oh wow, it's finally coming out. Like, I forgot.
Just came out. Like,
yeah, that's hilarious.
But dude, okay. So my last Smash thing, I know it's been a forever, kind of. Is every stage out first off on the website? Everything's available now. There's nothing hidden anymore, correct?
No, they even after they had a Nintendo Live like streaming thing in Japan, and Sakurai went through pretty much all the menus. Unfortunately, some modes aren't coming back. Like none of the stadium things, so no home run contest or break the targets.
What? Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for telling me that. I would have turned on my game, been disappointed looking for it for like an hour.
Yeah,
like,
so pretty much it's the spirit mode and like the adventure mode.
Okay, so essentially
those are the only
adventure
other modes.
mode, mission mode, and I think the spirit mode is just like a new version of mission mode. So I'm not
pretty much
too upset about it. I do like they try to old characters like, oh, fight a swamp, even though it's just like 3 gray Bowsers or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But all right. And let's see. Anything you were disappointed besides the Grinch stuff? Like, was there a stage you wanted to come back that didn't make it back? Was it Pokey Floats?
No. People in their poke floats. You're all wrong and terrible for liking
That
that.
gave me-
Freaks.
What are you? When people refer to Poke Floats, is that thing from the very first Smash Brothers that you're talking
No,
about?
that's Melee. Saffron City's from the first Smash Brothers. That's the one that got remade and was shown like immediately. And that's the one where like the
Poke
like, the
Floats
really
is like
shitty
a
stuff.
Macy's Days Parade, but as a stage. So they have all
Yeah.
these Pokemon like not hot air balloons, but like balloons flying throughout the stage, and you have to like jump on them so you have an actual platform to fight on. And it
Yeah,
changes
it's a
all the time.
Melee hidden stage. You have to like the one thing I was a little bit upset is like the mission mode. Like usually you know everything almost comes unlocked. I'm assuming you unlock the characters via time or the story mode, but I was kind of disappointed. Like I really like the mission mode in Melee where it's like, oh, I did this, and then that's how you got Poke Floats, or it's how you got like Roy or whatever. You're like, oh, I did these missions. This is cool. Like I get you're only gonna get spirits from it, but I was like, it's not too bad. Like I just don't want to like feed spirit mode because I don't care too much about it because like the reward is weak. Like I don't really care for the spirits.
Wait,
No.
isn't a thing on this podcast saying when you're like bragging about like when you called something? Isn't that a thing we do? No, I was curious, Matt. Is it true or is it not? They're saying that the game starts with only the very first 64 roster unlocked, and you have to unlock.
That's
Yeah,
correct. You start
it's
off
like
with the
not
8.
even just the first 64 roster. It's literally the 64 roster before you unlock the.
I am going to take a pause and say, called it. I'm only doing it because sometimes you like to do it. Like, yeah, that was Matt. Matt and I had a debate about this a long time ago.
So before you just take all the credit, to clarify, Unoclay was saying, oh, they'll only give you like the 64 roster, and then they'll like release it the other ones as free DLC like throughout the couple of months. And I'm thinking, 1, that's garbage, and 2, that's not going to happen. So I'm still like you still get credit because you are starting off with the first 64 roster, but I'm not just going to sit back here and take it.
Good memory. Good memory.
So there we
I
go.
think my exact argument
You
was
get
like every
credit.
week you get 2 more characters,
Yeah,
like
which
every
is
week.
insane.
For like
Yeah, that would be.
I still wish they would do it.
Oh my gosh, no. They'd be like 3 years later, when am I gonna get Meta Knight or something? Gosh.
Who wants Meta Knight anyway? Who cares?
I couldn't think of another character off the top of my head, but
No. No, that's great. It hit me. I forgot about it. I saw it during the direct, and then I thought, didn't I say that was going to happen? And I couldn't remember what the real bet was. So thank you for clarifying. Cool. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, that's good. What else? Yeah, that was great. I really liked it. It was a great direct. It was exciting. It did its job. It was informative. It was full of content. Were there haters out there? Like, I mean, because I know nobody can ever be satisfied. You guys read the internet a lot more than I do. How did the internet go? Was it like kind of okay, or was it like?
They're probably happy. You can't go off the initial internet. Anytime some dude comes out, like, yay, unless it's that bad. So.
But it was. But what?
Depends.
Was it like
because a lot of people?
Yeah.
I think there were people that were satisfied with it, and liked it, and a lot of people who were pretty cheesed that the Grinch leak was fake. But also because, like you said, they ended off on 2 characters that weren't really exciting. Like, everyone basically assumed Ken was in because they were making Echo Fighters a thing, and Ken is the, like, penultimate Echo Fighter in existence. So it's like, okay, we expected that. And, like, another Pokemon, regardless of which one it was going to be, isn't surprising either. Because it's Pokemon. So, I mean, I was disappointed there because it's like, and I rather would have had Decidueye, but I don't know. I think it was like a lackluster way to end the characters. But to be fair, I think he was trying to avoid any leaks from happening, and by leaving the most, I don't want to say the most uninteresting, but let's say the least hyped ones until the end. I think that kind of saved them from being leaked. Like. I don't know. I think most of these characters, people assumed Ridley was always a 50-50 with every game. Inkling was expected. Isabelle was probably somewhat of a surprise, but some expected. But I think King K. Rool was the biggest surprise. 1, because no leakers, from what I saw, actually leaked him. And 2, like no one was really sure if he would come or not, because he hasn't been in games for so long that you could easily see him not come in. So to be like, oh wow, he actually came in and no one was calling it, like it was a genuine surprise. So if they held that off until now, he probably would have been leaked and would have like taken away from it. So it was, at the end of it, it was probably a better idea for the way he structured it. I would say like maybe he could have saved some of the Echo Fighters, because like it's just nice to toss them in there, and it doesn't matter if someone leaked it or not. But I mean, that's just semantics.
Sure. Well, that's great, but it sounds like generally positively received, and we are under a month, aren't we? Or are we exactly a month out? What's the date on it?
It comes out December 7th, so almost
exactly a month out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe I'll even get it on launch day. Not characteristic for me lately, but maybe I'll even get this one on. No, I haven't pre-ordered. So I definitely will. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a party that day for my friends to come over, or at least soon after. We all have it. I gotta get myself a pro controller now. Like finally, I gotta get a real pro controller. Like I'm like, holy crap! I can't keep using these stupid Wii U controllers that are half busted, to play stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess you don't have a GameCube, right?
I do. I have lots of GameCube controllers. I just don't like playing with controllers. I'm not like you guys.
Okay. No, I would use the pro controller, but I mean, like, I wasn't sure how many you had, so you could just pick up an adapter and like save yourself that. But
I have the adapter.
You probably have it, yeah. So your friends are cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so my crybaby purist friends who gotta have their GameCube controllers, like certain people on this podcast can come over, they can't complain that they're losing because they had to use Joy-Cons, no, we're not gonna have that this time. So yeah, so it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Yeah. Only problem will be finding the time, boys. Finding the time.
I only wish they did have some trophies. Like I wouldn't expect them to do 700 trophies or whatever it was last time again, because honestly, I didn't even read through them. They were just way too much. But yeah. I missed the All-Star trophies. Those were cool. And the trophies are just cooler as rewards than like these spirit things, which are just like JPEGs that you've seen 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's that one picture of Dr. Wily or whoever I've seen on the internet for the last like 2 decades.
That I hit Google and I hit Wiley, and I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, but whatever. The event mode or the battles or whatever at least look pretty fun. Better than the other event matches at least. So we'll see. I just kind of wish they also did like a melee adventure mode, even if like just make like 10 levels, and that's it. Like I don't know, because it's nice to have
like the first 8 series world like they did in Manly. That'd be cool.
Because it's nice to just have like something that breaks up the pace. Like the event battles look fun, but they're still battles at the end of the day. And like Subspace sucked, to be quite honest. It wasn't good. The only good part of it were the cutscenes. And you weren't even in Nintendo Worlds for the most part. So like all the fun was lost there. But the melee stuff was cool because like here's a short little section of a game, and it kind of feels like you're in it, like running away from the lava and the Metroid level, and fighting different links in different areas and things like that. It just breaks up the pace a bit rather than pure fighting, so that would have been nice. But
Agreed.
Whatever, it is what it is. It'll still be fun.
This will be amazing. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm psyched. Somehow I'll find time to play it, I guess.
Before Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, probably before Mario Odyssey, and probably at the same time as Dark Souls and or 5 other games I gotta play. So yeah.
What is wrong with you not playing Mario Odyssey, man?
Well, I haven't had a damn minute, dude, all year. I haven't had a minute when I wasn't like.
He's been playing Binding of Isaac and like Enter the Gungeon for 6 months.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep.
Remember, he only finished Breath of the Wild like this year.
Yeah, that's true. And I say with pride, bro. I'm one of those guys. I put my time into my games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't 100% it the first week. I'm not like you guys.
Oh my gosh, I spent 3 months on that thing.
No, I look forward to it. One of these years, I'll get to it. Hey, it'll be another 5 years before there's a new Mario 3D game, anyhow. So who's laughing last here, guys? So, all right, good stuff.
Well,
true. All right, boys.
All right, I think we'll wrap it up this week, unless you guys wanted to say anything else quickly.
No, I'm good.
Cool.
Wrap it up already. Good
So,
grief.
sorry. All right, so you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and I'll be launching that video I talked about this week. So check out for that. And Mike, where can people find you?
Just find me at Troy Filibuster on Twitch or Gaming Night Live on YouTube. Thanks, boys.
Nice. Unoclay, where can people find you?
You can find me on the internets at Unoclay_Switch on the tweets. And my gaming channel with videos, which are slowed down recently, but there's some content on there you can take a look at, and I need to make a focus of getting back to it soon. I'm just working a lot on other video projects, not gaming related. That is Unoclay Gaming on YouTube. So Unoclay Gaming on YouTube and Unoclay_Switch, I guess, on the tweets. So there you go.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on pretty much every platform on the internet. Hit us up with your questions or interest if you want to be a guest at Just Another Castle or me directly at the Mango Viking. So until next time, leave luck to the heavens and leave gaming to Nintendo.